And you can go all the way back. Let's go all the way back since 1938. If you're going back before Biden is born, you know you're going back a long time. And if you look at this, when the opposition party leads on the generic congressional ballot at this point in midterms since 1938, they have won or held control of the House 10 out of 10 times. Now, obviously, that's a relatively small sample size, but whenever you get 10 out of 10 in politics, that is a very clear sign that the Democrats at this point, if history holds, are in a lot of trouble.
Florida Rep. Stephanie Murphy announced Monday that she will not seek a fourth term in Congress, the latest in a rapid series of retirements within the Democratic ranks that suggests momentum is moving heavily against the party as it seeks to hold on to its razor-thin majority next November. Murphy's decision came less than 24 hours after New Jersey Rep. Albio Sires said he would be retiring at the end of his Congress. And just before the Sires news, California Rep. Alan Lowenthal said he too would be stepping aside. Altogether, there are now 22 Democrats retiring or running for other offices this election cycle, as opposed to just 11 Republicans doing the same. As Chris Solis's analysis points out, it's not just the number of Democrats that are retiring this Congress cycle. It's the positions, the committee leadership that's stepping down as well. It's the bigger positions that could be potentially filled by Republicans that really matter the most.
And if you look back historically, right, if you look back since 1974 midterm elections, what do you see? You see that the party with fewer retirements gains House seats 8 out of 12 times. So that's not perfect, but when you combine that with what we're seeing on the generic congressional ballot, you can see that there's sort of all these different factors are working against the Democrats at this particular point in time.
So with an increasing amount of Democrats up for retirement just ahead of the 2022 midterms, I think that this is a really good time to focus on the opportunity for progressives to really get more active in the midterm races. Who can we prop up? What city do you live in? What state do you live in? What types of influences do you have in your community? What types of opportunities do we have moving forward now that we know that many Democrats are retiring and that we are facing some pretty steep obstacles in terms of overcoming the Republicans, not just the Republicans, but the corporate Democrats, the centrist Democrats. I think that that's really the most productive thing that we can focus on right now, because if we get too caught up in the fact that we know, a lot of challenges are ahead, but we don't really provide solutions, then we're just complaining. Then we're just sitting on the sidelines, whining and complaining, waiting on the Democrats to do something about it when we know that they likely won't. So I think that it's important for us to really think about that. Again, what city, state, town do you live in? Do you have influence? Do you want to run? Do you think that you would make a good candidate? Or do you know anybody who you think would make a good candidate? Not just for federal elections, but for state and local elections. I'm going to keep on preaching this, but I think, again, as we continue to, break down data and break down polling coming out ahead of the midterms, I think that it's really important for us to take advantage of this time to put forth candidates who we think can really represent us in ways that the Democrats have failed to over and over again.